I'm going to be sharing with you in this video what discipline actually is. Because for me personally, discipline, what I used to believe about discipline, what I used to think about discipline is absolutely not the case for me anymore. And I have a completely different perspective on discipline that I want to share with you in this video that I think is going to be very valuable for you and something you can take away to help you get what you want it's not going to be what you think, but in a way that is definitely more efficient and in a way easier than if you don't understand discipline. So let's talk about that. And it's not necessarily easier, but it's not necessarily harder either. And I'll go a little bit deeper in terms of what I mean by that in this video. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I do actually post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, currently the only way to do so is by booking in a single session, and you can do so by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you, let's talk about what discipline is not. So discipline is not about making yourself feel bad, putting yourself through misery and pain. But it's also not necessarily about making you feel good. Not necessarily. So discipline is about actually transcending both good and bad. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to talk about. It's not about making yourself putting yourself in pain, or making yourself feel really, really good. It has nothing to do with necessarily good or bad. Now for me, if I'm going to use a certain kind of vocabulary to describe it, I could say that it's a lot easier. And actually, I do resonate with that vocabulary. Like with discipline, there's a true sense of freedom. There's a true sense of peace that comes when you understand discipline at the highest level. And that sounds like an arrogant thing to say, but it's like discipline is when you really look, if you understand discipline, you will feel free. It's as simple as that. Nobody can take away your freedom. Yes, you're gonna have a little bit of conviction. Not a little bit, you're gonna have serious conviction. People are gonna think certain things about you, but it doesn't matter and you're not gonna be doubtful. You're gonna be in conviction because you understand that discipline is actually where true freedom comes. So what do I mean when I say it's not about making yourself feel good or bad? Well, what I mean by that, I want to get to the second thing in this video, which is that discipline, what it actually is being what you need to be in order to go where you want to go. That's what discipline actually is. That means that it's not necessarily if it makes you feel good or if it makes you feel bad. You're not really concerned about that. You have a certain target in mind. You have a certain goal in mind. And you don't care if people think you look like an asshole. You don't care if you challenge your old limiting beliefs. You don't care how people perceive you. You know that you need to go somewhere. You're called to go in a direction. You know that's going to be your highest alignment to your higher self or to who you really are or whatever, right? And you're not concerned about anything else other than going there. That is your priority. And then so once you're in this flow state of being in alignment with your highest vision, what happens is that you start to step into a state where you transcend literally comfort and discomfort or pain or pleasure. Really, because think about it. Think about it like this. What is painful, oh, that's so uncomfortable to me, is completely relative to your identity and who you're being in that moment. Does that make sense? So if you're thinking like, oh God, I really, really, really want this food right now. That's what I'm really craving. Now this is debatable, but really food is an acquired taste. So something that you thought you didn't want, you could start eating it and you're like, oh wow, like I really like this now. Now your taste buds are automatically transforming. So it's like what you want, what is comfortable, that's just like one example out of infinite, right? You could be on the computer working on a project for 3 hours, and that might cause you zero pain. You're totally in the flow because you know where you're going, and that just feels so aligned to you. And you have all these other factors that are connected with your identity that maybe doing something like that is just flow, ease, connection. Where to another person, that same activity, painful, very painful. It disgusts them, it makes them sick to their stomach, makes them feel repulsed. But to you, you're attracted to being in that kind of quality, right? You're embodying a certain kind of frequency. You're disciplined, and you're snapping yourself out of any program that contradicts that goal, that place, that way of being that you want to embody. So that's discipline. Discipline is just ignoring all the limitation, ignoring all the fear, ignoring anything that is really good or bad, and just fully owning 100%, ignoring everything else, and being 100% who you really, truly want to be, regardless of anything, regardless of what your own past beliefs tell you, regardless of what people are going to say to you around you, regardless of anything that contradicts that goal. You don't see it. I mean, you see it, but you dismiss it. You don't give it attention. You dismiss it. You disengage, right? You disengage from anything that contradicts your goal. If you know that you want to make a certain amount of money in your business, anything that contradicts that doesn't matter. You're willing to embody whatever. And you might think like, well, wait a second, isn't that a little bit egotistical? Isn't that a little bit arrogant? The thing is though, you'd be very surprised how respectful and honorable you are as a being in creation when you discipline yourself to be who you want to be, because that's loving yourself. And most people don't give themselves permission to fully embody some type of way of being or way of living that they want to, and they're living in some energy that they don't want to. And I would say to the whole, oh, what if I'm being egotistical or arrogant objection, like, understandable, but do you really want to be living in a vibration that you don't want to be in? Is that helpful? Maybe, when I realized this, I was like, okay, maybe it's helpful to be a little bit arrogant. And I mean that in a way where it's like, you're not hurting anybody, but arrogance and manipulation and control unnecessarily in the external world happens when we don't know how to control our own inner connection to who we want to be, right? I don't need to control anybody out there because I know how to discipline my own being, right? Why would I waste my energy chasing things or controlling things out there when I can just discipline myself and then lead by example, right? So you can learn to be who you want to be, and that doesn't need to affect anybody negatively. In fact, you make your choices, other people make their choices. So that is the free will that you have as a being, and you have that capability to become whatever it is that you want to be. That is discipline. The third and final thing that I want to share with you in this video is a quote that Bob Proctor used to explain when he was still alive on this planet. Rest in peace to Bob Proctor. Because I learned a lot from Bob Proctor. And this quote is that the ability to give yourself a command and follow it, that was his definition of discipline. That's absolutely an amazing quote, because if you think about that, what that means is not necessarily that you're going to put yourself through misery, not necessarily at all that you're going to put yourself through intense pleasure. It's just the ability simply to go in a direction that you say you're going to go in. Simple, right? If you say to yourself, I attract lots of money, how do you follow through with that in your action, in your frequency field? Do you go out of your way? If you believe that you want to manifest money, let's just say, for example, effortlessly or with ease, where are you contradicting yourself? Where are you unnecessarily people-pleasing? People that attract money and believe they attract money effortlessly don't grind their energy in a way that dishonors how they feel. Just if you have that belief system, right? If you have a different belief system and you don't want to attract money effortlessly or whatever, then what happens is that you can be a different way. But if you have to be one way to get a certain kind of result, you'll be that way, and that's just one way. So that's an example of what I mean. It's the ability to do something and to be a certain kind of way, to embody a certain kind of energy in your frequency field, in your awareness, in your consciousness, and let yourself be that, because you just you give yourself permission to do so. Most people have too much guilt, too much shame, too much fear, too much resistance to let themselves embody different states of being that are available to them in this present moment because of all these different beliefs. And this is not even about spirituality. There's nothing to do about spirituality. This is life. This is normal life. Life is literally, that's life. Life is, I believe, one way of living life, or one point of life. I think one point of life is literally to drop all your ideas about spirituality and go become what your heart actually wants. Because if let's just say you're listening to, and this is a little bit of a debatable topic, and I'm only sharing this because this has, for me personally, gave me so much benefit moving forward, and I'll just conclude on this. If you're doing something that somebody has told you that you believe is going to help you to go where you want to go, but you don't feel aligned to that vision, and you're doing it because somebody told you, that's not true discipline. That's just like you could be using all that energy and disciplining yourself to do what you actually want to do, and it'll actually feel a lot better. It'll feel much more effortless. But again, it's not going to necessarily feel effortless or good or bad. It's like you're really getting to the point where you just trust yourself to go manifest what you want and to become one with that frequency, to become one with your desire, to become one with that desired state, and then to allow it to manifest into the physical. I believe that is one of our main purposes. I know that's debatable, but it's like at some point, it's been very powerful for me. I guess there's many different aspects to life or spirituality, but one way that has worked powerfully for me, you do what works for you, is to drop everything and go be what I want to be. And I think that there's great value to this, and we can remove so much guilt and fear and shame and resistance and truly get to a state of real, genuine, actual inner peace when we can give ourselves permission to let go of all that misaligned emotion and be who we actually want to be. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one, personally, right now, currently, the only way to do so is by booking in a single session. You can do so by hitting the link that's in the description box of this video. It's also going to be in the comments of this video as well. Also, leave a like on this video only if you want to, because I do actually believe that every single person on this planet does deserve to know that they are divine creators of their reality, and that actually they can manifest their reality and do so in the most effortless and easeful way possible, helping themselves and helping others in the process as well. And hitting that like button does help the YouTube algorithm push the videos out to more people, and that would be greatly appreciated. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next